Okay, so things aren't going great. Shorts are completely soaked because I had to wade in and stop my boat from drifting away. The rope I had tied to it, that was tied to an old rope in the back of my truck, that rope was apparently dry rotted and broke. That water is cold, too. And then I tried to start the motor, and the freaking choke piece decided to break. Thankfully, the trolling motor works. I was able to get it to where it drifts close to shore next to the ramp. So that's where we're at right now. At least there's no leaks, as far as I can tell. But this is just a setback on top of a setback. So I don't know what to do. Yeah, so here's the piece that broke. And I gotta figure out how I'm gonna get it back in there. Seems the curse of the boat from hell has passed on to this one, which sucks. I'm gonna see about getting somebody to look at that outboard. Maybe. I think the choke is broken on it, because there's no way that choke lever should be coming off like that. Well, I got it home. It was dripping a lot of gas from the carburetor. So I guess the thing was super flooded. I don't really know what to do about that. I need to talk to the man I bought the boat from and maybe troubleshoot with him and see what we can figure out. Hell, he might just take the boat, not the whole boat, but the motor back. I don't know. Hey, what's happening, CB Tech stuff? So it's like midnight and I'm recording this. It's like April 3rd, yes. And I got this big old box. And I got the contents of this box and that envelope. So I ordered a fuel water separator kit, which they actually do have these at my Walmart now. I could have just bought one there. Oh well. I had to buy the fittings. Where'd they go? Oh yeah. I got some stainless steel 5/16 8mm hose barbs. And I also got a replacement float and a carburetor rebuild kit for our outboard. And also went and got some upgrades for the trolling motor. Actually, I have not opened this yet, so I'm going to open this real quick. Alright, so we got us a Motor Guide Katana prop. I think it's made to fit more newer motor guides, but hopefully it'll fit mine too. It's for a 3.5-inch hub. Seems a little bit bigger. Comes with a nut, but I also bought one of these. This is a knockoff, I think. I think torque balancer nuts. Yeah, it's the eliminator. I guess you just hand tighten it. Came in a little bitty box inside the envelope. Ignore all that junk on my coffee table. Eliminator trolling motor for Motor Guide X3, X5, 13, and 15. Hopefully it's compatible with this. I think they make this from Minn Kotas too. I'm not really sure if this is the front or the back of the prop. Fits all Motor Guide motors with 3.5-inch diameter hubs. I'm not sure if mine is a 3.5-inch diameter. It's a 35-pound thrust whisper drive. So, I guess we'll find out. Pretty sure Motor Guides are made by Mercury, aren't they? I don't know. Oh. Huh. Atwood Corp. Does Atwood own Motor Guide? Or does it make the prop for them? I don't know. That's interesting. Anyways, let's get this big box open. I'm excited to see what we got in there. Alright. So in our big box, we have the Vevor LDYG P24 6-gallon or 24-liter marine gas tank. Hiccups now. And it comes with a hose. The fitting on the tank's actually built in. And it's got a little fuel gauge here. Not a very big gas cap. I do like the brass screw on it though. I went with this instead of buying an Atwood or a Scepter gas tank. Partly because, one, those other tanks don't come with hoses. And especially in the case of the Scepters, they don't come with the adapter you need to go from your hose to this tank. This one's built in, of course. I think it's a Yamaha style. Or very similar to some of the newer Mercury. It's on both ends of it. Only bad part, this has a 5/16 hose. That's why I had to get the stainless fittings in 5/16 inner diameter. Only thing is, my motor has the old twist connect style Mercury hookups on it, and I'm not sure if the hose is big enough to go to them. I may have to get some adapters, or going from the fuel separator to the motor, I may have to go to 3/8 hose. Another reason I went with this tank, it was about $10 cheaper than buying a new Scepter that didn't come with the adapter and didn't come with a fuel hose. Cheaper than the Atwood one too. I could have gone a 3-gallon one, a lot cheaper, but I had 6-gallon and it's full, so I want to go to a 6-gallon. I don't know if I'm going to keep that old tank or not. The tank itself might be fine, but I think the old fuel hose needs work. Yes. Who wants attention? Anyway, that's what's going on the boat next. Hopefully tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. And we are back in the boat shop. It is Tuesday, April 8th. I did not get around to working on it over the weekend, mainly because of the weather. It got really crazy on Friday and kind of was crazy all weekend. But now the weather's nice again. So, we got 5 things we are going to try to accomplish while I have the boat here. The main thing's going to be redoing the fuel line, adding that fuel water separator, rebuilding the carb, and then I'm also going to work on shortening the front chains because they're a few links too long to where they drag pretty bad. I'm going to work on shortening the transom saver because that thing is a pain to collapse. And then, of course, I'm going to build a tarp support, which I might do out of PVC instead of using wood like I did with the other one. Plus, PVC would be a lot lighter. My only concern is if I go too thin on it, it might melt and collapse, kind of like the whole PVC tarp shed did that I built a while back. I'm also going to check the lower unit oil. The last guy who worked on this motor, who was kind of questionable at best, may or may not have changed it. He said he did. I'm going to check that just to be sure. Might as well. Okay, now let's do this for real.
20 minutes later.
Alright, so here's where I'm at right now. I've decided I'm going to put the fuel water separator from right there. And I'm going to use these 2 ports. And this hose that came with the new tank is plenty long enough to where I should be able to loop it back around here and into this. Only real problem I can see is that the female hookup, this motor, is probably going to be too big to use with this 8mm 5/16 line that came with the gas tank. So coming out of the fuel water separator, I am probably going to have to go to 3/8. I don't know if that's going to cause problems or not. I'm tempted to see about just getting a snap connect male and female end to put right here, or reusing one of the ends off that old hose. I was going to use the female end off that old hose anyway. It's over there. Because I really don't like this system. And I think I need to check some of these hose clamps on this side anyway. They look kind of sketchy. And here's the tanks next to each other. I don't know what year this old Neptune tank is, but this tank was not original to this boat. And this Vevor is also a 6-gallon tank. The thing I don't like about that, though, is it's got this gap right here. And that concerns me a little. And these snap connects are a totally different size. That piece is way wider than that piece. Well, that hose is not compatible with this one. I don't think this one will work with that other one. Probably leak too much. This one's got the same connection on both ends. It does not say on the Amazon page what motor that fits. But I'm pretty sure it's not Mercury. Might be Yamaha, might be Evinrude Johnson, but it is not Mercury. Of course, here's the old fuel hose, which probably could be saved. It just might need some new hose clamps. I might salvage parts of this, at least the primer bulb, and this is the female connection on it. I thought this was metal at first. I guess it is plastic. Maybe. I'm thinking it was sucking air somewhere. Possibly right there. And over right here. Anyway, I don't trust this old tank. If I do go using the original hose through the fuel water separator, I'm worried about pressure issues. I think what I'm going to do before I buy anything is pull that female end off of the old hose and just see how wide it is.
20 minutes later.
Okay, so like the dummy I am, I got gasoline all over this because I did not take into account that fuel bulb still having gas in it. Anyway, I was afraid of this. That is definitely 3/8 only. It is in no way going to fit over there. If I force it in there, it's going to stretch and probably rip. Yeah, it's a little tiny. Little tiny guy. I don't want to starve this thing for fuel. I need to see if I can find an adapter, like a double-ended hose barb that'll adapt me up from 3/8 to 5/16. Or if I can figure out exactly which hookup this is, maybe I can just get one that's the right size. I need to go get a fitting anyway to fit that because I only have the 5/16 fittings. So I'm probably going to go to Atwood's and go get all that stuff. Plus I need some hose clamps anyway. I will be back.
8:01 p.m.
Alright, I'm back from Atwood's, and that was kind of a wasted trip. I did learn a couple things though. Number one, this is definitely not a Mercury. I think I already knew that though. Don't know if it fits an Evinrude or Johnson because they did not have any. I did test it against the Yamaha fitting, and it was close. It's pretty snug, but didn't seat all the way. It's like the little notch in the locating pin. It's like it wasn't deep enough. I think what I'm going to end up having to do is go with the other plan of reusing this one, which I don't know if this one's actually good. As I looked at some of the newer ones I had, and they were definitely metal. This one's plastic for sure. But they've got that little retaining ball, or I guess check valve ball in there. This one does not. Actually, on second thought, that might just be a big one. The newer ones have a smaller one. I don't know. I might get a new one anyway, but on the newer setups, the male end that stabs into this piece actually has the hose barb on it. But the female end comes with both the, I guess, 1/4-inch brass fittings and the hose barb. Just thread on whichever one you want to use. Couldn't find any that actually bolt to the engine though, so I may not be able to convert this over after all to the Snap Connect. I was going to try to adapt the hose from 5/16 up to 3/8, basically using a mending coupling. It goes from one side to the other. They were out. I started to go to Napa. Napa's closed. ABC's closed. AutoZone, I think, is closed. O'Reilly's is open, but it's on the other side of town, and I'm full with that. So I'm probably going to put the fuel line project on hold until I can go and get the stuff tomorrow. In the meantime, I'm going to look into tearing this thing apart, at least getting the carburetor off. I'm probably not going to put more than another hour in tonight. And if I got more free time tomorrow, while I'm on shift, I'll probably work on it then. This thing's going to stay here overnight. Hell, it might be here all week. Stay tuned. Quick thing I wanted to add. I did look through the manual that came with the fuel tank, and it mentions absolutely nothing about what it's supposed to, like what engine it's meant to connect to. There's the manufacturer page. That is a long Chinese name. But yeah, it mentions absolutely nothing about what style of engine it's designed to hook up to. My best guess is it's meant to hook up to Yamaha Tohatsu, or maybe one of the knockoffs like Hankai or PacSun, Honda, who knows. But local pickings are not that great as far as hose adapters go. But I'll see what I can come up with tomorrow.
Meanwhile.
Alright, I got the carburetor out, and a couple things. One, we got a dirt nest up in there, behind where the starter was. Two, yes, you have to remove the starter to get the freaking carburetor off. Not the hardest thing in the world to do. I still want to disconnect everything from the batteries. I just disconnected the power cable where it hooks up to the solenoid, and of course disconnected the solenoid to the starter. And bolted that pretty easily. Getting that nut off was a pain in the butt. I had to go and get a pair of channel locks because I couldn't get my wrench up in there. This gasket was kind of stuck on there. And unlike the round choke knob models, which the video I've been going off of to take the carburetor off is based on, there's no retaining screw in here. There's a lot of gunk though. That holds the choke piece on. Anyway, I got the carburetor sitting over there on a clean rag, and I'm gonna see if I can get this thing torn apart and get it clean.
12 seconds later.
Real quick before I tear this thing out, this is where the fuel line goes in on this thing, and it is dirty. I don't know if you can see in there real good on this angle. There's a lot of, looks like a rust, almost. That is, that's no bueno. I'm kind of scared for what else we're gonna find in here. Oh, this is a WMC 111302.5. Alright, I got the carburetor open. The float actually looks pretty good. And so does the needle valve, really. But there is some crud in the bowl. And around here, of course, that's left over from the gasket, but there was other stuff in there too. I think the gaskets were falling apart on this thing. Might have been the really cheap ones. That's what I figured out so far. I might reuse this float after all. I better go and replace it. Alright, and we're going to go deeper. Alright, I got the other side opened up, and I just found, see if I can shine that light in there so you can see it, that big old glob of gunk right there. That can't be good. And of course there's more little black stuff in there too, but not as bad. I'm going to get that big gunk out though. I might clean that up with the wire wheel. Gonna keep going. Well, I did soak this thing in penetrating fluid and blew it out with air, and then I opened up the fuel pump side, and this is what I find. Also found the part number. But yeah, look at all that buildup right there. And someone's on the gasket too. That gasket's definitely seen better days. Now I guess we need to clean this part out. And there's still some stuff in these little channels. I'm probably going to let this thing soak. I don't know if I can tear apart that piece or not. I'm still going along with the video. And we continue. Okay, quick correction. That is not the fuel pump on this carburetor. On newer ones, like the one we used in the video, which is very identical to this carburetor, except it's got extra parts in here. I guess that has a pulsating fuel pump. This one does not. It's just got the gasket diaphragm. Still pretty nasty. And I guess next is I guess that piece is called the enrichment button. That piece. It's part of the bowl. I'm going to take it up next. And then could start putting this thing back together to get everything cleaned up. I may wait till tomorrow to do that. Let things set up overnight. Alright, I got the enrichment button pulled out. It wasn't that bad of shape. There was a little bit of gunk in there, and the gasket is kind of coming apart. That diaphragm side, I pulled this off, and between it and the outside wall plate was a little piece of, looked like tape or like a wing off a bug that was in there. I kind of wonder if that was part of my problem. Anyway, I'm about to wrap it up for the night, and I'm gonna come back and put this back together tomorrow. So I'll see y'all later, CP Tech stuff.
Tomorrow.
Alright, it is Wednesday, my dudes. Again. Okay, so we did quite a bit today. Since it was slow, I had some help. Although I myself pretty much redid the fuel system. Put the carburetor back together. It's back on. Got the new gas tank hooked up. Got my fuel water separator in. Had to make my own union to join these different size hoses. And I apologize, it is also still pretty windy. We went to try to run it and it wouldn't get more than a couple revolutions for dying. Tried adjusting the set screw in the carb. That did not really help. I think we kind of flooded it a little bit. We did a lot of troubleshooting and looking things up. We are only getting spark on one cylinder, mainly this one. It's got good spark too. It shocked me a few times while I was holding the wire like an idiot. This one was giving us fits. I think the coil's okay. It was sparking a lot up in here. It was uncovered. I think we come to the conclusion it's either a bad stator, really hope not, or it's a bad CDI box. And this one was replaced 5 or 6 years ago, according to the previous owner. I did find out some new lore on this thing. Evidently, he let this boat set up for about 4 years, unused, up until last year, when he took it to a boat mechanic who they've been having issues with, who also redid the water pump and put new oil in this thing, supposedly. I kind of believe him because it does pump water good. Haven't checked the lower unit yet. Getting to that. Plugs are in okay shape. They had some crud on them. I cleaned them off. There's a lot of black carbon buildup up in the cylinders. I just ordered a new one. I didn't order a name brand one though. I just ordered the generic $40 Amazon one. I just wanted to get me by. And it will be here hopefully Friday. I also ordered a replacement micro switch. This right here. This one is really loose. I don't know if that'll help things or not. I had to take the carburetor back apart a couple times, so I almost forgot to put some parts back in. I'm hoping that I did all that right. Pretty sure I did. I was going to look at replacing this actuator piece, but apparently they are not available in generic, used, or new form. But it's after hours now. I think I am going to go ahead and work on the other stuff, like doing the troll motor upgrades and also redoing the transom saver. So that's what we got going on.
20 minutes later.
Alright, I got the troll motor prop off. It wasn't really that difficult to do. I don't know if the torque nut is going to be working with this or not. I have to use the one that comes with it. It does fit the old prop though, so that's nice. Let's get it open. Alright, well, looks like I'm going to have to return the katana. It does not fit. It actually hits against the keel here. So I guess I'm just going to put the old prop back on and put the torque nut on. That would have been too short anywhere to work with that. I guess I'll see if I can get my money back on this thing. Moving on. Alright, I got that thing on. And it seems to run good. I really wish that other prop would have fit, but oh well. Alright, guess I'm gonna work on the transom saver next.
1 hour later.
Here's where I'm at. I was gonna check the lower unit oil on this thing, but I can't get the plug holes open. Both of them, especially the one on the bottom, are totally stripped out on the heads. The biggest flathead I have will not turn it. I even tried to rig up a piece of flat iron. All it does is keep jumping out of that groove. So I may have to take that to a bigger mechanic to get those dealt with. That's probably going to cost some money. I guess I could just hope that the oil there holds out. I did trim the transom saver a little bit. I cut off about 1.5 inches off of it and drilled some new holes that line up a little better. That should work better. I put a little more paint on where I drilled through it and cut it. I was going to adjust the chains, but I think I'm going to wait on that because I kind of want to go home. Oh, that's today's progress. Alright, it is Friday, and I got the new CDI box and I ordered. $50 on Amazon, made in China. I know. Better than paying $200 for an OEM one, in my opinion. And we are going to see if it'll run good with this, because it's only getting a spark here. And we did swap them around and it was doing the same thing. It was only getting a spark on this one. I really hope this solves the problem. I really wish I would have cleaned out some of these old dirt dauber nests, though. I might go ahead and clean that one out while I got it open. Alright, let's get to it.
Later.
And we continue to have issues with the motor on this thing. Put new CDI box on it that fixed our not having spark issue, but trying to crank this thing, it seems like it's starving for fuel. And it's not losing prime. So we checked all that. We adjusted the carburetor all the way out and all the way in, nothing. We pulled the flywheel off and checked the stator, cleaned everything up there. Now we're having starter issues. I don't know if we fried the starter or what, but now it just clicks. I actually ended up breaking the switch. So, got a little button on here you gotta push in to engage it. I got a replacement coming, it'll be here next week anyway. This thing is frustrating the hell out of me. I am tired. I'm tired, boss. I know my boss has the original starter that came off this thing, because he replaced the starter a while back thinking it was the problem with it, but it was something else. So we'll see what that does. I was going to stay and work on a PVC support for this cover, but I don't feel like it. I'm going to try to go fishing in the morning though, so this will have to wait till next week. I'll catch y'all later.
3 days later.
Alright, it is the Monday before Easter, and we got the boat running again, finally. So, we replaced the CDI box. I think it's still warm. We got spark back, thanks to that. But then we had issues getting it running. Starter gave up on it too. So I rebuilt the carburetor. Then we swapped out the starter. Still had issues. I double checked the carburetor. Turns out I had the gasket backwards on the fuel pump side. I had it on I think it was on the inside instead of the outside of the diaphragm. And then we also found out we had bad gas mixed in with good gas, so we pumped out all the bad gas that was left over from the old tank. So now it's clean. The bad gas apparently left white gunk in the carburetor. Got that out. Replaced the broken micro switch with this one I got off eBay. The ends were apparently soldered to the old one, so I had to cut those off and put these stake-ons on. They fit good now. Quick note on the CDI box I bought. I bought this one off Amazon. It was the highest rated one on Amazon that wasn't an OEM one. I know, I'm cheap. A couple of things. You're going to need shorter screws if you get one of these. I went and got some shorter ones that were stainless steel. I think these are 3/4. The mounting tabs are shorter on this one, that's why. And I also got their socket heads. Works good though. And also figured out, pretty sure this carburetor is the wrong carburetor for this model engine. According to the parts breakdowns I've looked at, this one, which is a WMC11 13025, This one matches the ones for Mercury and Mariner 18 to 20 horse. The 25 through 35 horse models for this year model motor have a different style fuel pump it's usually made of like white or yellow plastic right in here with a little piston that moves back and forth. So really, this is probably a 20 horse motor at best. But alright, YouTube. So for now, I am done with the Lowe, which I still haven't given a name to. I might have y'all help me pick out a name for it. I've got a list of names. But I'm back on the Tidecraft. I've got a potential buyer coming for it in 2 days. It is currently the Monday after Easter. Yeah, I got a guy coming Wednesday afternoon. And I need to replace the starter solenoid because, I don't know if you can see it in there, it's a little melted back in there. I tried to start it up a couple days ago. I think it was Friday. Starter ran a couple times, then it got to where it was just clicking. I talked up to a bad battery. Went and got another battery. The old one was 2 years old anyway. And it still just clicks. I bypassed the solenoid with a pair of pliers and it turned over the starter. So I did order a solenoid off Amazon, but it was the wrong style. It was the big round style. I'll post a picture of that. But my local AutoZone has a Sierra that looks identical to this one. Hope it's the right one. It might be the exact same replacement model number. But we're going to see if we can't make it work. I really hope it's not the CDI box. Because that's way more money than I really want to spend. I also had to replace a tilt and trim switch on the throttle because somehow that broke. I think my homemade support hit it at some point. That was way more expensive than I wanted to do. I could have bought a new one off Amazon for like 16 bucks. I went and got one pulled off another boat from the local boat shop and they charged me 50 bucks for it. That was annoying. But I got it in there. I had to modify the handle to make it fit. So, without further ado, I'm going to get this swapped out. I was going to disconnect the battery over here, but I don't want to take the whole support out. So, I'm probably just going to very carefully disconnect everything here. Let's get to it.
20 minutes later. Meanwhile.
Alright. I think we're done having the boat in the shop. For now. The only thing I can really think that needs being fixed anymore is that latch. Not real happy with that. I tried to bend the hooks, but that didn't help much. It's just so loose. The cowl is just fiberglass. That's metal. Guess if I had to, I could run a bungee cord like from here down to here. That will not stay tight. I don't think it's going to come off anytime soon. It's pretty much been held on by the handle here. I added my little Z bracket to keep the choke from popping out. Got just far enough where I can pull the choke out that far without coming out. It's perfect. I pre-drilled through and went with some self-tapping screws. It does, one of them does go through the little metal hook that engages the cowl, but it doesn't hurt anything. The other one's just in the fiberglass. Should be tight enough. I spray painted black to keep it from rusting. I also put some new lower unit oil in it with my Evinrude Johnson style E-Tech plugs. The bottom one was kind of tricky to get in straight, but finally got it. It showed up later, even though I ordered them at the same time. It did come with a free koozie though, so that was nice. It's full of oil. Of course, I got my PVC frame built for the tarp. I shortened the transom saver a little bit to make it easier to get out. And one of my co-workers gave me these paddles. They're actually just like the old spare paddle that was up under there. Except that these have blue handles instead of brown ones. They might be useful. But it's a sunny day today, but it's supposed to rain for like the next 4 days. So I'm probably going to pull this thing out of here and cover it over. And hopefully I will have the penny pincher sold this coming weekend. I was going to try to make it done this past Friday. That didn't work out. Wednesday is not going to work out because of the rain. So Sunday I should have that thing sold. Alright, real quick. So I decided to go ahead and do what I did on the front. Pre-drilled a hole and ran a short self-tapper. All it does is go through that little lip in the cowl. It kind of barely catches on that hook, but I mean, it doesn't wobble back and forth like it did. Also touched up a couple spots with some black spray paint because they're pretty scratched up. Yeah, some of it didn't cover up too well, but it's better than nothing. Till next time. Ladies and gentlemen, the original boat from hell, the penny pincher, is sold. She ran good for me today. Sold it to a couple nice folks. Ran it for a little bit. Ran good. Had some fun loading it back up. Also had a couple issues with the trailer lights. The steering was also very tight, but they liked it. I hope they get a lot of enjoyment out of that boat. That really is at least a two-person boat. And hope they can have a lot of fun with it, with the grandkids, all that. Now we're on to bigger and brighter things, hopefully in the Lowe. So CB Tech stuff, we're closing a chapter and opening a new one, or really continuing a new one. Stay tuned. Well, I meant to get footage of me launching the boat and running it, but I'm again back out on the lake. Different lake this time. With the boat, she's running fantastic. And I'm going to try to catch some fish. I figured this would be the best way to end the Boat from Hell saga. Now the Timecards is sold, I'm finally getting some use out of this new boat. And I don't think it's fair to continue calling this boat the Boat from Hell. I actually do have a poll up trying to decide what I'm going to name this boat. Anywho, I gotta get my poles rigged up and get my fish on. So CB Tech stuff, see you next time.
Eventually.